I am Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we bring you information about exciting things that are happening in our community, and today will be no different. I'm always delighted when we have a chance to talk with our representatives from the United Way of Madison County, and today we have that unique privilege of being able to do that once again. She's been on the broadcast before. In fact, she was on the inaugural broadcast of this show that has been on now for almost 3 years. And she's Kathy Miller, Community Impact Director with the United Way of Madison County. Welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you, Kenny. It's great to be here today.
It's always good to have you because I know every time you come with great information and exciting news about what's happening with United Way. And before we really get into some of that great news, just there may be some people out there that are still trying to figure out the United Way. I mean, we continue to talk about the branding aspect and communicating the message. Just give the Cliff Notes version of what the United Way of Madison County represents.
Wow, that's a tall order, but a great way to start our conversation today. We are dedicated to looking at the health and human service needs in the community and then bringing together people who want to donate dollars and time, as well as some expert nonprofits to come together and help solve those problems. And that's really, in a nutshell, what United Way is all about. The wonderful thing, too, is that we're very local. And you'll see a United Way in another city, in another state, across the world. We're part of a wonderful branding network, but we are very much what our own communities need, and that's true for United Way of Madison County as well.
And United Way has been on the scene here locally for decades now, doing some awesome work, and I think that is a testament to the certainly the relevance of the services that are provided, but also the very important opportunities that are created and generated by having a United Way at a local level.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have grown a lot in our, I believe it's 73 years now, so we'll have a big 75th coming up before too much longer. But we have grown from just a few organizations that received money. A few of them have been with us from the beginning because we really are, that's a great messaging about United Way. We are an investment that's long-term in the community. We're not going anywhere. We are here to continue to respond to needs as they change. And so American Red Cross is a great example. They came on very early with us, as did the Pathfinder, a drug and substance abuse residential program. And then we have some newcomers that have come on with us in the last few years, and even a few new ones that we'll talk about a little bit later on today.
Every 3 years, United Way has an opportunity to sort of sit back and assess who's a part of the agency, who's providing services in the community, and perhaps continue to work with some of those great agencies, but also consider and determine, are there other agencies out there that should be a part of this team, as I would call it. And you recently went through that process, through the community impact process. Now, United Way, I guess we should also let people know, have 3 different initiatives that it focuses on. And yours, of course, is the Community Impact Initiative that actually results in an identification of agencies and provision of monies for those agencies. So talk a little bit about that process before we actually talk about some of those agencies.
Oh, sure. First of all, very volunteer driven. United Way in general is, we have a volunteer board. We had 37 community volunteers from the community that came and looked at the needs assessment that we did in 2014, finished in early 2015. And from those, they helped us develop goals that we could work on with the larger community and also with those very highly selected agency partners. And then we went through a grant application process, essentially. It's the most extensive one, we're proud to say, in the community. And that gives a lot of assurance to the people that want to come and be a part of United Way, either as a donor or as a volunteer, that we've done our homework and we're only selecting those folks that can do what they say they're going to do in terms of changing people's lives. Some of them have a great reputation, but we don't just allow them to ride on that reputation. So we're looking at, are the needs the greatest ones in our community that we can do something about, and who are the best players to bring to the table to help us do that? And our volunteers really drive that process. So they review 2 levels of grant application, what we call a pre-proposal, and then there were a few called out of that that really didn't match the focus that we were going to work on. great nonprofits. We will never be able to fund everybody, but we are strategically focused. And then those volunteers went and visited all the other applicants, spent time with them, seeing what they're doing, as well as looking at them on paper. We review financial information about the agency so that we really have a clear view of what they're going to do. And that has been very exciting for us internally at United Way to see that process move forward. It's like a business plan, Kenny. It is, let's start with the needs, let's figure out our strategy, let's pull together the right people, and let's go to work.
Yeah.
And then let's evaluate. And it's exactly the same thing as many of our business friends here in the community will see in their everyday work.
Yeah.
So we want folks to know that we operate as a business, as a nonprofit, and that we are very strategic in what we're doing.
And what you're sharing with us demonstrates a well-vetted process that takes into account measures of accountability, certainly track records of agencies, the whole notion of aligning with the goals of United Way to make sure that the organizations that benefit from the funding are actually true partners in the journey and in the mission of United Way. So this is a very deep process that, as you said, requires a lot of time. And we, of course, always like to give a shout out to all those great volunteers that came on board, because you really do a great job of stretching across the community and inviting people to come to the table who can lend a hand to this process. And these individuals make a true commitment of time and effort in order to make this possible. And that's huge for the United Way.
It is, and it's huge for the community because we are very much, I love the name United Way because it means that everybody has a place at the table. We look at the demographics of the county. We make sure that we have people from all different ethnicities and cultures that are represented significantly in the county. We make sure that we have all ages of folks. And I'm going to kind of go away from this theoretical discussion that we've been doing to mention to you and to the folks that are listening that there's an opportunity to become a part of that work, even though we won't select partners again for 3 years. We have a lot of other things that are community-minded focuses that focus around the goals that we have that we need hands with. We have a very small staff. And we find that we get a better product when the community is involved.
Yeah.
So I want folks to know that they can contact, if they're interested in serving, takes about 2 to 4 hours a month, but not every single month. And if they are community-minded, if they are interested in helping people in their community that either are in a really tough situation financially or health-wise or maybe in education, or maybe they just hit a crisis like a house fire that any of us could face, then we want those kind of individuals to come and inform our work. And we'll really rely on their insight from what they see in their own neighborhoods, in their own communities, in their places of work where they live, work, and play, we like to say. And so that's one thing that I would really love to encourage listeners today.
Sure.
To think about, could you do that kind of volunteer work, or would you just like to know more? And they can reach out to our office and just ask about the community impact volunteer opportunities, and we will be sure to share some more information with them.
Well, that's a great call to action too, because you and I both have talked about how we occasionally come across folks who are trying to start something in the community. They've got a great idea about a nonprofit. They're not always clear about what's going on in the community, but they think they've got a good idea that's going to address an issue or concern that they see. But in reality, a lot of that stuff is being done. I mean, there are very few things that come across my desk that are just, groundbreaking kinds of initiatives to change the community. And so really what you're suggesting is that there are a lot of people out there that want to get involved. They want to get in the game. They don't always know how, but there is an opportunity here perhaps to learn the landscape of the community, to learn what's going on out there, and to find out if the idea that they have about starting something can perhaps be pushed down the line, or something that they don't even have to do because they can come alongside the folks already doing it. And that's a really, really good thing.
That is great, and we love those people that are innovators.
Yes.
We have so many think tanks and brain trusts and all kinds of wonderful things going on in the community right now. And so we're creating that same kind of environment there. I always do encourage folks that I want them to come with a community agenda in mind. That's sometimes a little bit hard. I know that in my own work, that sometimes you I adore some agencies that work in education because that's my core. But I also know that I can't gravitate so much to that I overlook the whole.
Yeah.
And so, we're looking for those folks that, and not just those that have an idea. If you just are a mom or a dad that has raised a child, if you are somebody that struggled and overcome some struggles financially, and maybe you're at a better place now, oh my goodness, do we need those kinds of volunteers as well, because when I go and talk to people who are walking that walk, I learn so much every single time I do that, Kenny.
Yeah.
And I say that not just for me, but for the entire staff of United Way. We want to be listening. We want to be their United Way. We want to be your listeners' United Way. And the best way to make it yours is to get involved in one of these ways.
Yeah, that's right. We've got probably 3.5 minutes left in the show right now, so I did want to give you an opportunity to briefly talk about some of the ways that new partners have come on board and how this is going to really enhance the ability of United Way to do the work that it's been doing.
Great. I wish we had time to read through the whole list, but that would be so boring. We're not going to do that. So I invite people to come and visit our website, MadisonCountyCares.org, and they can see a complete list of the 33 agencies and 48 programs that we will be working with for the next 3 years. I do want to highlight, and I'm going to put my glasses on so I can read this list, but I do want to highlight some new partners that we have because they really do strengthen the efforts that we're making. The first one is the Alabama Cooperative Extension System. They have about 80 programs, Kenny, in this community that are working on those same issues that we focus on: education, financial stability, and health. So they're a great addition to the portfolio of sorts. And then we also have, we're very excited about this, the Community Free Dental Clinic, because that is a roaring need that some people may not even know about, that there's not very much help for people that are adults that need help and don't have insurance or can't afford the care that they need to make sure that they are employable and healthy. And dental care has a whole lot to do with that. I'm going to make sure I'm trying not to miss anybody. We also have added United Cerebral Palsy. And I always like to share with people that you hear that and you just think, well, that's just for people with cerebral palsy, but it's not. They are a leader in the community in working with the disabled of all sorts, and especially with children. So we were very excited to have them come on.
And they're a big proponent of respite care too, which
Absolutely.
is a big thing that runs the spectrum of Alzheimer's and some of the other challenges, as you said, of people with disabilities. So they are a great resource.
Yes, they really are, and we're excited to have them. Still Serving Veterans has been added, and of course, we have such a connection in this community to our military, and we're grateful for Redstone and the combined federal campaign that helps us raise money here locally. And so they are one of the leading agencies working with veterans, and we've already encouraged them to work with our CASA of Madison County that works with seniors. And so we have just had all these wonderful, last one is New Hope Children's Clinic down in the south part of the county. We are fortunate to be longtime partners with the Hills Community Clinics, and they're expanding. They're soon going to have 10 clinics instead of the 6 that they currently have. But they do not have a footprint in the very south part of our county where there are children that need a medical home.
Yeah.
And so we have appreciated this, that's a very similar model to Hills, coming on board with us. And now we have 2 partners in the very south part of the county, the Care Center and New Hope. So we really are able to reach up to around Hampton Cove and get some services to those folks down there that might not be able to get into Huntsville.
Kathy, thank you for all the great information you've provided for us today. Before we go, please give us the website again and maybe a phone number that people can reach out to you to find out more information about the services that United Way provides, but also, once again, to give a big prop to the idea that people can volunteer, people can donate. Where can they reach out to you?
MadisonCountyCares.org is our website. Any of our social media, you can find us through UW Madison County. So that's Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all kinds of things that I don't even know about are out there. And the phone number is 256-536-0745. We'd love to hear from the community about how they would like to be involved. And I know that my friend Claudia would be happy for me to say that we'll have campaign kicking off, our employee giving campaign, in September. And so if you run a business here in town and you don't have a United Way employee giving campaign, it's a great chance for your employees to come together and have a way to make a difference in their community.
Thank you very much, Kathy Miller. She's Community Impact Director for the United Way of Madison County. And we thank you for being a part of our broadcast as well today. We hope that you've gathered some great information about how you can be supportive of this agency that's truly making a difference across the spectrum of the community. We also invite you to like our Facebook page, which is Impact with Kenny Anderson, where you can see behind the scenes photos as well as a video of the show that you just watched. For Impact, I'm Kenny Anderson. We'll see you again soon.